Hello and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Emily and today we're going to be talking about my April TBR. So it's actually right here, right behind me. If you can hear screaming in the background, that's the bird. I say screaming, he's like, ah! But if you're hearing that, it's the bird. Also, can I just say, I did this like split color lip, like pink on top, purple on the bottom, which is an option on The Sims, and I always give my Sims this lip color, and today I was like, what if I did it? And I'm kind of really feeling it. Anyways, let's get on with the TBR. So the first three books are books that I started this year during the school year, and I never actually finished them. Don't tell my professors. So we've got The Tempest by William Shakespeare. You guys know I'm a huge Shakespeare fan, so the fact that I didn't finish this is really wild. But we were reading different adaptations of The Tempest every week, so I ended up like reading the adaptations and not reading the original. So I'm gonna read this. Next, we've got another Shakespeare play. We've got Richard II. Again, where am I? Act 2, Scene 1. Okay, so I got into it, but I just never ended up finishing it. It got kind of busy that point this semester, you know how it is. And then lastly, we have The Sea and the Mirror by W.H. Auden, which is one of the adaptations of The Tempest, and I'm like almost done this. I have like only a few pages left, so I'm gonna finish it. The last bit is just so long and confusing, and I read the first half, which is what I had to do my assignment on, and then I just didn't read the second half, and that's just how it is. Okay, next, I was watching Books and Lala's video, reading based on my Enneagram type, and so I immediately went and did the quiz. I'm type 3, the achiever. And I was looking up books for my Enneagram, and one was Untamed by Glennon Doyle, which I actually just was lent by a mom that I babysit for, so I was like, what an interesting coincidence. So I'm gonna read it. She was messaging me while she was reading this. She was like, Emily, next time you're here, I'm giving you that, like, you need to read this book. So yeah, I don't really know what it is. Oh, it's a memoir. Okay. Oh, I love memoirs. Oh, and it's all about being a mother and family and all that sort of thing. And this is the first time I've ever seen a little, like, inside flap description overlap and have to go to the backside flap, which is interesting. Anyways, I'm very excited to read this. I think it'll be really, really good. Next, we have The Final Descent by Rick Yancey. I've been reading the Monstrumologist series off and on for a while now, and I'm finally on the last book. I know I'm gonna love it. Like, this is definitely gonna be a 5-star book. I'm kind of sad that the series is over, you know? Like, I get it. I get why series have to end, but it also makes me very sad. But hopefully I love it. All the other books were 5 stars, so I'm certain this one will be as well. Speaking of 5-star books, one of my first reads of 2021 was the first book in this series, which is the Escape from Furnace series, and this is book 2, Solitary by Alexander Gordon Smith. And it's like a horror series, although I don't find it scary. I find it a little bit stressful, more than I find it scary. But yeah, I think this one's gonna be really good. I heard that after you read this one, you'll immediately need to read the third one, and I don't have the third one, so maybe I should order that online now so I have it for when I'm done this one. But I'm excited. I feel like I say that at the end of every single thing. I'm like, I'm excited, but I am. I'm just, obviously I'm excited. That's why they're on my TBR. Next, we have Shadow Study by Maria V. Snyder. I have this whole series. It's right under my pile. It's right here. And I read the first 3 as library books, and then I managed to find a collection of the full series, and then I kind of stopped reading them because school and life. But I'm gonna finish the series. So this is book 4. Oh, I know why I didn't. Okay, so it's like a trilogy and then a second trilogy bound together in the series of 6. So I finished the trilogy, and now I'm starting the second one, which is like the same characters, but it's like a different bad guy, I guess. I was just about to say I'm excited. I am, but yeah. I also think this is going to be a 5-star read. Oh, here's another one I started for school, but I actually started this like 2 years ago, and that is The Alphabet Game. It is a reader of B.P. Nichol poems, so it's like a bunch of different stuff of all sorts of different poems, and I'm like really far through this. I just need to get through like the really long part that's just like, well, you can't see that. I'm afraid my bookmark will fall out here. It's just like words. You can also see all my annotations. But yeah, and then I'm gonna get to the fun stuff that's like that many words, and it'll be nice and easy, and I think I'll fly through it at the end. I don't think I'm gonna rate this 5 stars. It'll probably be a 4-star read. I do really like the poetry. I mean, my mom and my boyfriend watched the documentary-ish type movie with him and Michael Ondaatje, and they hated it. I've watched it like way too many times. Everyone I've ever shown it to has hated it because it's very bizarre. But yeah, I love B.P. Nichols' poetry. Not all of it is for me, but I love a very large amount of it. This is really the month for sequels. We've got Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston. Oh, hold on, there's a really bad glare there. There we go. Okay, Soul of Stars by Ashley Poston. And this one, the first book in the series, was a 5-star read. It was a space sci-fi retelling of what's the movie called? It's the girl, Anastasia. I was gonna say Angelica, but that's wrong. Yeah, so this is a sequel. I'm gonna need to, like, refresh myself on what happened in the first book because I read that in first year, which is so long ago, but I loved it. I got my hands on the sequel, and then I just never found the time to read it, which seems to be, like, my motto in life. But hopefully I will now. Next we have The Bromance Book Club by Lyssa K. Adams. I saw this on somebody's YouTube video, like a wrap-up or something, and I just thought it would be a really light, fun read. I don't really have much else to say about it. I don't normally read adult romance, but every time I do, I enjoy it. And I think this is just going to be a fun take on the idea of, like, a book club, and I'm hoping that it will kind of get rid of the idea of toxic masculinity and be, like, a bit more of a feminist read? I'm not sure, but that's what I'm hoping for. Okay, next we have one of the books from my recent book haul, but it's not actually the one that I said would be in this month's TBR, which is The Hummingbird Dagger. It's over here. This is Spectacle. It's the one in which, and I can't say the author's last name, I forgot to look it up, Jody Lynn Struck? I think it's Slavic. But this is the one in which she writes for a morgue, and then she starts having premonitions of the murders. I thought it would be like a Jack the Ripper thing, because it's literally the time period of Jack the Ripper, but it's set in Paris, so... Oh, the Parisian catacombs. I was there. I think this is going to be a really fun read, and I will read The Hummingbird Dagger if I get the chance, but it's not on, like, my official TBR. And lastly, I was trying to think what the last book I wanted on my list, because I wanted a list of 12 books. I don't know if that ended up being 12 or if it was only 11 because I might have taken something else off. Now I'm unsure. But I realized I didn't have any YA contemporaries, so I chose 100 Days of Cake by Sherry Goldhagen. And this girl has really bad depression, and so her mom has decided that baking the perfect cake will cure her daughter's depression, which is, like, kind of sweet, but, like, very misguided. So she bakes a cake every single day, and she's like, if I bake the perfect cake, my daughter will be cured. And I think it's going to be really fun. I've wanted to read it for a really long time, and I kept, like, picking it up, and I never started it. I would pick it up and be like, I'm going to read it, and then I didn't. So hopefully this is what it takes to get me to finally read it, and I hope it'll be a 5-star read. I've been anticipating it for so long that I don't want it to let me down, you know? So that is it for my physical TBR, but I do have a couple of books on my audio TBR, so I'm just going to grab my phone quickly so I can read off my Audible, like, collection thing. So while I'm trying to get into the app, can I just say I love that Audible has now created that feature that you can make collections, so you can, like, it's like bookshelves for Audible, and I love it because organization is just very important to me. So I'm having to close out, like, all my sleep timers and stuff because I was listening to an audiobook before I went to bed last night. Here we go. April 2021 TBR. Okay, so the first book on my TBR is The Killer Across the Table by Johnny Douglas and Mark Olshaker. I've read 3 or 4. I think I'm in the middle of the 4th book by these two. Johnny Douglas was a profiler with the FBI, so I've been listening to all of his true crime books. Some of them get a little bit repetitive at times, but I think they're really, really interesting. The one I'm listening to right now, Journey Through Darkness, actually has a whole chapter on... They've reprinted the missing persons or missing children's pamphlets and stuff on how to protect your children. I think it's a really valuable resource. So yeah, I've been listening to that. I've also got 21 Things You May Not Know About the Indian Act by Bob Joseph, and this one I started listening to just before Christmas, and then I stopped listening to audiobooks for a couple months, so I think I'm gonna have to restart this one over from the beginning. But again, this is something that I think as a Canadian and as someone who wants to go into law is really important for me to know, but really important for everyone to know, I think. And I'm looking forward to finishing it. It's a fairly short audiobook. It's under 4 hours. So yeah. Then we've got Gathering Moss by Robin Wall Kimmerer. This was an Audible Daily Deal, and it's like about the history and different kinds of moss. It's very bizarre, but I'm really into listening to nonfiction. I don't like listening to fiction as much. I prefer to like physically read it. And I was like, maybe this will make me interested in moss. Will it? Probably not. Like, it's moss. But it just seemed like a really cool and bizarre premise. And I think it's also part memoir and about like this author's love of moss. I'm excited to see what it is because I really don't know. And then lastly, we have Momentous Events in the Life of a Cactus by Dusty Bowling. This is the second book in a series, and it stars a main character who was born without arms. And I really like this series because a lot of books with main characters with disabilities focus on how they are overcoming their disability as like the main conflict of the book. And that's great. We need more books with main characters with disabilities. But I love that this is a book with a main character with a disability, and the plot is not about her disability. It's about something more than that. And it just shows that, like, people with disabilities are normal people too, right? Like, they have normal conflicts in their life that aren't related to their disability. And we got to see the main character grow a lot in the first book, and her best friend who has Tourette's. And I think there might be a romance between them in this book, which I really want. Yeah, I absolutely adored the first book. I listened to it on audio as well, so I knew I had to pick up the second one, and hopefully I get time for it this month. So that is going to be my April reading. Will I get all the books done? I really hope so. I don't know. I'm gonna try not to be too, like, put too much pressure on myself. This is the first month that I'm, like, really getting back into BookTube, and I'm really trying to get back into reading. I've been really struggling, as I mentioned in previous videos, with reading during the pandemic. It's just been hard recently, like with school and everything going on. I haven't been reading for fun, and I want to be, so I picked all these books because I think I'm going to enjoy all of them, and I think that they're all going to make me want to dive back into reading, and that's all I want. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give me a huge thumbs up, and let me know down in the comments below what you're going to be reading in the month of April. If any of the books I mentioned are on your TBR, or if you've read any of them, or want to read any of them. And please, please, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and you can see more videos from me. I don't have, like, an uploading schedule, but, like, I'll post. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. Bye.